This is CJ with the GOAT Sports Talk. Seeing this information coming out concerning, you know, Carmelo Anthony being watched by the Knicks front office, and it was actually Steve Mills, who is the New York Knicks general manager, who was watching from a phone during the summer league over there in Vegas the workout of Carmelo Anthony, and he was showing, I guess, the rest of the front office, and they were laughing at it. And this is not a good sign for Carmelo Anthony. I think right now that Carmelo Anthony's contract with the no trade clause, which makes it very difficult for them to get the best kind of deal possible. It's possible that he could try and ride out as long as he wants, and basically try and force a buyout because eventually it's going to boil over in the media out there in New York with the fans that are basically sick and tired of hearing about the Carmelo Anthony situation, and they're just ultimately probably just going to have to buy him out. There was offers for them to trade even for Kevin Love, which they didn't go after. And, ultimately that probably would have been, a better deal, but you never know. I mean, with Carmelo Anthony, there's possibility that he might be trying to leverage himself, out west or even down to Houston, which we'll also discuss as well. But, at the end of the day, it looks like it's going to get ugly eventually because when you see something like this, it's going to get out eventually in the media if it's being seen here. And this was a good catch. Got this actually from, the Zemo Pireto's page and showing, the video, which you already see, on the screen with them looking at the workout and laughing at it. And, to be honest, every year, especially since Carmelo was having issues really with George Karl in Denver, there's always been some kind of Carmelo workout video that either shows him, he's lost weight, or look at him, he's working hard at his game. But to be honest, Carmelo is just a natural scoring talent, and he, has been able to get away with it. But really, if you examine him, really he hasn't improved his game that much since he's been, in Denver. So it's kind of like, it's almost kind of laughable to a certain degree because you just know he's not like on the level of like a LeBron James where he's adding to his game, he's getting better, he's getting more efficient, he's getting, more versatile. And, everybody knows that LeBron is like a workout warrior. He's a guy that's a big-time student of the game. And I think Carmelo Anthony really does want to probably win a championship because of the narrative. He's looking at his window closing in his career. And I believe he wants to be, a guy that's an all-star level talent or all-star player, or that still also is a contributor to a championship team to where, his talent is not lost out in history as a guy who eventually should have probably gotten a championship but didn't. And even though people thought he would be able to lead a team to a championship, it just was never really meant out for him. He did play on some good teams out in Denver, but the West was very tough. During those times, he had a good coach in George Karl, but it just didn't work out. The whole New York Knicks situation was just a debacle, and everybody, a lot of players, they always dream about playing in Madison Square Garden, playing in New York, playing in front of the stars. But really, a lot of the stars and the entertainers are out in LA, and that's where they're spending a lot of their time. It's not like it used to be where it was kind of split down the middle. An overwhelming amount of stars are showing up in places like Miami, which now they're not because LeBron's not there. But a lot of them are in LA pretty much full time. Even if you're a New York artist, whether you're a musician, an entertainer of any sort, many of them prefer to live out west for obvious reasons. One, they get to be around their fellow stars and entertainers and athletes, year round, and the weather's better. It's just a better lifestyle overall. No one wants to live in the cold, unless New York during the summertime is amazing. And I'm not trying to be biased. It's a reasonable to live there, but during the rest of the year, it's really just not the best place unless you just really like to wear, some winter gear and look fly. Winter clothing is really where you really see fashion get really good. You get to wear the boots and, the different types of pants and, the sweaters and the vest and the different types of coats. So, yeah, I can see people wanting to be like that over in New York, but New York is not what it used to be. It's lost a lot of its culture. due to different things. You talk about gentrification. There's just a lot of stuff that New York is not what it used to be, like it was like in the 90s, or the early 2000s. It's just not what it used to be culturally. And it's just not as much of an appeal for a lot of players. And I think a lot of NBA owners and a lot of New York fans have not really been able to see that fact, that the appeal for New York is just not what it used to be, and it's in large part due to different social changes that have occurred in New York over the last 10 to 15 years. And they're going to have a hard time attracting free agents. They're going to have to continually overpay for free agents, and ultimately they're going to have to let go of Carmelo Anthony. And Carmelo Anthony, this thing, with Carmelo, I believe that he's going to hunker down. His agent's going to tell him, listen, if you don't get traded, go out there and play. But they know ultimately that Carmelo Anthony is going to somehow leave. And I think they want to stick it to Carmelo. But I think it's a bad idea to have Carmelo there where he could be talking in the ear of a Porzingis. But at the end of the day, the chips are held in the side of, the New York Knicks front office, because Porzingis, there's nothing he can do. He's going to be a restricted free agent. He's going to be there on his rookie deal. And there's no way, it's very hard to move a disgruntled player on a rookie contract that you deem as a worthy talent. At this point, they need to just move him and just, move on from the whole situation. But it looks like they might play a little pettiness and make it tough for him before they actually buy him out or trade him. They might even wait till the trade deadline and try and maximize as much as they can out of whichever team that he wants to go to. And if he doesn't accept that offer, then they'll let him pine away on the rest of the on the bench and let him turn 34 and let him be 1 year older and less valuable, and going into the following season. So, like I said, man, this thing can get very, very ugly. So, hey, go ahead and enjoy this time, man, right now with the free agency, because eventually all these people are going to be signed up, and it's just going to be a drought of talks. Really, you're just going to be focusing on Summer League at some point once all these signings go away. And, of course, we'll be getting onto some NFL talk as well, and kind of probably looking at a halfway snapshot of the MLB as well as we go into the, the All-Star, the MLB All-Star game, and, of course, the Home Run Derby and all that stuff, So hopefully we'll get to some of that. It's all about what, the listeners want. If you want more Major League Baseball talk, feel free to hit the comment board. Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. We're here to give you, what you want to hear, and definitely, appreciate y'all support. Signing off.